Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTrack. This is Raj here. I'm so happy to see green indices from yesterday and green index futures pre-market today, as you can see on the screen. It's a feeling I had totally forgotten. Feels good to be alive in this condition. Well, for this and more, let's get started. Welcome back. Well, friends, we saw a boost in the market sentiment yesterday thanks to a milder CPI readout. This morning we had further reasons to stay the course because of what the Fed said. Fed officials welcomed the news that the inflation might have peaked, but cautioned against getting too excited by the data. Dallas Fed President Lori Dogan called the CPI report a welcome relief, but noted that more rate increases probably are coming, albeit at a slower pace. We all know that interest rate hikes will continue until inflation drops down to 3%. Slower rate hikes are something to cheer about right now, in my opinion. The market this morning is weighing how to react. Pre-market indices are positive, and VIX was mildly elevated when I started this recording, but I hope that it goes down when we approach the market open. If better sense prevail, we should see a consolidation today with a little bit of profit taking, where people who are skittish could take some profits and keep cash in hand. And then there could be some dollar cost averaging where people who thought that they lost the opportunity start buying up. And this should ideally cancel each other out, and we should have some kind of consolidation. That's what I am thinking. And we will look at the technical charts to see whether this conclusion can be substantiated. So we'll talk more about that when we look at the price action. That said, there are a few more indicators pointing towards deflation. First is the heading on the CNBC that you see up here, which says shipping containers are aplenty right now. So friends, I think if there is a glut of containers, that means after the frenzy of meeting demand during pandemic supply chain shortage, we probably have a surplus right now. And due to the pandemic, container cost rose as many containers were stuck in the ports without getting cleared. I recollect doing a video in which I spoke to you about how Amazon made its own containers of a special size, and it was using ports which were not very popular so that it can avoid all the lineups and so on. So now with this glut of containers, what it indicates to me is that there is too much inventory that has been shipped. We can also see evidence of discounts at retail and may see fantastic Black Friday deals. I'm looking for the Black Friday deals to buy a good camera and good mic, because I'm painfully aware that I need to improve the quality of the sound and video on my channel. But yeah, I'm waiting for the Black Friday deals and hope it comes to be fantastic. And it also tells me that the demand is dropping, and so more shipments are not being ordered. Taken together, this indicates to me that the peak inflation has been reached, and now inflation is on its downward trajectory. And with a little bit of help from the Fed, not with heavy interest rate hikes, but milder interest rate hikes, we should be able to glide to 3%. Finally, Dan Ives, who was a staunch supporter for Tesla and Elon Musk, has thrown the towel and complained on Twitter that Elon needs to get his act together. I believe that Elon had a meeting with advertisers, and the advertisers were skeptical of the future of the platform and are holding back ad spending. In this backdrop, Elon said that a bankruptcy is possible. Meanwhile, I was doing research to replace my SUV with an electric vehicle, and I found so many Tesla alternatives that I could not believe. We have electric vehicles from BMW, Audi, Kia, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Volvo, and so many others that cover all price points. I think Elon needs to get his act together and stay apolitical. If he indulges in politics, he may lose his business advantage. What do you guys think? Please put it in the comment below. I'm a bit mad because I have a good part of my portfolio in Tesla shares, and they're languishing. They're down 44%, and I thought I bought it when the stock was down. So I'm really looking forward to Elon changing course and getting back to business with Tesla. Twitter is a very bad distraction. That said, let us check out the pre-market price action and see what's happening out there. Here we are in our TradingView platform, and I'm looking at NASDAQ futures. Each of these candles are one-day candle. And friends, as you can see, NASDAQ futures has done very well. It had a very nice raise yesterday, very orderly raise. And today we have a candle out here, which is almost like a doji candle. There's a bit of indecision. It's got probably the balance between people who think that they invested at too high a price and they're now trying to take some profits to keep cash in hand. And the people who thought they lost the bus when the prices went down and they're trying to buy up, thinking they're dollar cost averaging. So these two forces, I think, are clashing. That's my premise this morning. When we start pre-market, we are up 0.47%, which is not great, but it's still positive. If you look at indicators, US oil is up 3.63%, but I won't worry too much about it because if you look at US dollar index is down 0.33 and it has been coming down sharply. So when the oil price raises with the US dollar going down, I think it's kind of a wash. It's just the price is being increased to compensate. So I don't think I would worry too much about it. And then let's go back into US oil. US oil has fallen below this diagonal line of support. So now this diagonal line becomes a resistance. And right now we have a support which is at 86.33. And we have another support which is at 88.00. And because our price is out here, I think we still have the diagonal line of support. I was a bit too quick to dismiss it off. And we also have support from the 10-day simple moving average, which is at 88.62, which is the thick yellow line out here. Pre-market, we are up 3.63%. And I hope that oil comes down below this diagonal line of support. Next, let us look at QQQ. QQQ is raging, and you can see that the momentum is pretty high. MACD is also bullish. But the thing I'm worried about in QQQ is the disorderly rise. The rise should have been in an orderly manner. So this is the candle for today, for yesterday, for the 10th. And you can see it's a very healthy green candle. It has converted many resistance into support, but it has created a gap on its way up, and that gap is not healthy. Because in technical analysis, we always say that gaps need to be filled. So this gap has to be filled. So I'm thinking that the possibility that people are taking profit is going to be higher than the possibility that people are going to do dollar cost average. So in balance, I think QQQ may want to come down, fill this up, and then go back up. It could happen today, or it could happen tomorrow, or it could happen sometime later. But it's definitely on the cards sometime. The sooner the better, so that we can take care of this and start moving in an orderly fashion. That said, S&P 500. S&P 500 is up 5.50% as of yesterday, and today pre-market it's up 0.41%. It's at 396.31. So it is somewhere out here, just above yesterday's candle. And I'm just going to extend this diagonal line of support, and I'm going to realign it. I'm going to realign it with the other candles, so that we have a much stronger bull channel. So this bull channel has got multiple lines of contact, and this is going to perform the line of support today. And even before that, we're going to have support from the 100-day simple moving average, which is this thick blue line sitting at 389.26. So that's going to be the limit. And again, momentum is raging and everything. But friends, you see the dreaded gap up here. This gap up has to be filled up, which means we'll have to break down below this diagonal line of support and then bounce back from this line of support at 381.55. Let me mark these supports so that in future when we come in, we don't get mistaken. Yeah, so it needs to bounce back from 381.76 in order to cover this gap. So when it will happen, I don't know, but today pre-market we are up 0.38%, which is not great, but still it's positive. Russell Industrial Average, again, it has jumped up like in an uncontrolled manner, so it's an improper kind of jump. Very strong jump. It has converted a lot of resistance into support, but again, it needs to fill up the gaps. So friends, be a bit cautious with this boost. Dow Jones was up 3.66% yesterday, and it's up 0.40 today. Again, disorderly raise, so there's a gap up out here which needs to be filled up. And if you look at VIX, VIX is up very moderately, 0.09. It's getting a bit of support here from this diagonal line of support, and its support is at 23.43. But I don't know what's going to happen when the market opens. Right now, it's positive. And if you look at the US dollar index, again, you can see that US dollar index was down 0.34 in the pre-market action. It's down 0.34% in the pre-market action. And in the process, it has converted the support, which was at 13,122.21 into a resistance. So I'll have to draw new supports, and I could possibly visualize the support out here, which I'm going to adjust a little bit, fine tune it a little bit. It's going to be a range. It's going to be a range of support. The support range is going to be between here and yeah, I think I'm happy with that. That's going to be the next line of support. I'm going to convert this, is the 13,100. I'm going to convert this into a green line of support. And for those of you who can't see it, I'm going to just make it a bit thicker. So that's the next support I'm drawing. If we bounce back up above it, then we are fine. Then we have our next resistance, which is the 100-day simple moving average. And after that, we'll have this the support channel for the previous bear channel acting as a resistance for us to constrain us from going above. So that's what we are looking at. Now let's go and look at the market movers and see what they are doing. Microsoft is up 0.33%, again a disorderly raise, so that is going to be a fallback to cover this gap. The gap has to be covered somehow or the other everywhere. That's the story. And if you look at Apple again has done a bit of a gap up, but not too bad. It's up 0.25% pre-market. Amazon is up 1.80% pre-market, and again it has gapped up, so there is a gap here to be filled up, and it's got the support from the 10-day simple moving average, and also it has to fill up the gap above here. So people who are investors in Amazon are really very confused, and let us hope for the best, and let us hope that we just keep raising out here. It's wishful thinking. Google was up 7.75% yesterday. Again, a big gap up without a proper movement upwards. So that needs to be corrected. Today pre-market we are up 0.52%. So friends, I think that we will open green for sure, and most of these shares would support the index. But I think on balance, people are going to do a bit of profit taking, and we may come back to cover these gap ups. That's what I'm thinking. Let's look at commodities. Wheat is up 0.62, but dollar index is down, so that kind of compensates. Copper is up 1.96%. This again becomes a warning sign. I'm getting concerned about copper. So I think the Fed is also looking at these things, and they're going to temper their interest hike decisions. Genomics, let us do the look up on Genomics. I'm just going to sort this out. The biggest winner was Invitae. I wish I had Invitae. I had placed the orders, but I didn't get to buy Invitae. Invitae is up 36.40%. Friends, this was amazing. A great boost, and it's an orderly raise, and I think we have converted our resistance, which was at 2.56, into a support. And I'm just going to make this line a bit thicker for those of you who are on a smaller device. So our next resistance is 4.04. And our MACD is bullish, and momentum also has got plenty of way before it gets overbought. And pre-market we are down 2.25%. It's a bit of profit taking out there because people are thirsty for some profits. But I think that Invitae has done well and recovered and built up a lot of support. So it's firming up its foundation. PSEB was up 20.14%. Friends, we are approaching our target of 11.23. PSEB right now is at 10.02. A very smart raise yesterday. And as you can see, the gap up is very orderly. It has not created any gaps out here. So I'm very happy about PSEB, and pre-market we are up 0.20%. Verve is up 18% as of yesterday, and today pre-market it's down 1.07%. But all said and done, we have converted two of the resistances into support. I will take that. It's building up a foundation again on its way up. And again, you will notice, friends, there is no disorderly gap up. It's all properly filled up. So very durable gain. And I also mentioned that it was a knee-jerk reaction. Sooner rather than later, we are going to hear back from FDA. And let me see the news to see if there is any news for today. There are no news items here. But I'm going to make an announcement that when FDA comes back and says that they are lifting the hold on the candidate, then Verve is just going to start going back up, and it's going to fill up this gap. So I've already bought Verve. It's at a loss right now in my books, but today I think I'll be breaking even, and I'll make some profits when we reach 30.94. So I'm rooting for that. Then Beam was up 16.58% yesterday. No trades pre-market today. In the process, it has converted the resistance into support out here, and the resistance was at 44.38, and it's now a support. Our MACD is still bearish, but tending towards the signal line, almost ready to cross over to bullish side. Momentum is almost at 50%, so I'm expecting something positive for Beam today. Teladoc was up 15.77% yesterday and up another 2.29% this morning. And we still have resistance, which is going to come in at the 100-day simple moving average at 32.59. And we have support, which is coming from the 10-day and the 50-day simple moving average in the range of 28.33 and 27.79 respectively. Now let's look at Editas, which was up 15.67% yesterday. No trades pre-market. Editas has got a little bit of a gap up here, but I think the markets would forgive, the technical gods would forgive that. It doesn't seem that big. Our momentum has just got above 50% and MACD is bullish again. Pre-market, we are a bit flat at this point of time, but I'm hoping for a good thing for Editas today. DNA was up 14.78%. Friends, I had bought DNA. So I've already seen profits in there, but I'm not selling yet. Pre-market, we are down 0.38%. I'm getting a bit greedy. I'm thinking that we are definitely going to convert the resistance, which is right now at 2.68, into a support given the positive market conditions pre-market. So I'm going to hold on, and I'm going to hope that we are going to cross this resistance out here, which is at 2.68, and convert that into a support, and then we'll be constrained by the 50-day simple moving average at 2.82 and 100-day simple moving average, which is at 2.89. So I'm just holding on a bit greedier, but if we start falling below this resistance, I'll sell immediately and book my profits. That said, I'm looking at Bluebird, which was up 13.99%, and it's down 0.99% this morning. And we still have support, which is at 6.86, and all the previous resistance have been converted into a support. I'm going to mark them green. And our next resistance is this diagonal line of resistance from the previous channel that we were traveling on, and that's at 7.47 for today. So that's going to be the next constraint for us. Next, let's look at CRISPR Therapeutics, which was up 11.77% yesterday, and it's up 1.01% this morning. We have converted this diagonal line of resistance of the previous bear channel into a line of support for a potential new bear channel. And we have also in the process converted all these other resistances into support. And the movement up has been in a orderly fashion because the wick of the previous candle overlaps almost touches the wick of the green candle from yesterday. So I'm satisfied with that. I don't see a downward pressure. We also have support from the 10-day simple moving average at 52.18. So CRISPR has consolidated a lot, and also it has converted this other resistance which we have at 54.47 into an immediate support. So that's going to be a support when the market opens, and we are going to have a resistance which is going to be at out here 59.23, which is a horizontal line of resistance. And if I was to look at some minor resistance, then I'll plot a minor resistance somewhere out here as a minor resistance, which would be something that we need to cross over. And I'm basing it on two candles here, so I'm calling it a minor resistance. There was something out there which prevented the price from moving up or moving down in a matter of 3 days. If that factor still exists, then that could form a minor resistance out here. That's all I'm saying. It's not a given. Illumina was up 11.23% yesterday, friends. And today pre-market, there are no trades, and we are on track for the cup and handle target of 271.87, 270.22 in my opinion. It's looking pretty good, and we have converted this resistance, which is the neckline of the cup, into a support. So that looks great for me, my friends, and also we have plenty of room for the RSI, and MACD is also bullish, looking good. ARCG was up 11.21% yesterday. Not an orderly raise, so I think ARCG might potentially come down today. Intelia was up 9.21%. Again, not an orderly raise, so there's a good possibility that it's going to come down. Allogene was up 8.90% yesterday, and not an orderly raise, so there's a possibility for Allogene to come down. Caribou Biosciences was up 7.36% yesterday. I would call this an orderly raise because there was a wick in the candle the day before, and we are here today. So I'm going to say that our 10-day simple moving average is now a support for us, and our resistance at 10.04 is performing its job right now. And it's when the market opens, we'll have to see that it continues to stay above, in which case our 50-day simple moving average which is sitting at 8.26. The thick orange line out here is going to be the next resistance. IDNA was up 6.86%, not an orderly race, so it has to come down to fill the gap. SQZ Biotech was up 6.30%, and it's looking good in the books for me. It started much higher and then it came down. So that's something that we have to keep in mind. But overall, all said and done, I think that we are most likely to see another positive move up today, but we are being constrained by the 10-day and the 50-day simple moving average sitting at 2.79 and 2.77 respectively. Once we break through that, we should be fine. And also the earnings were pretty good in terms of EPS. And I always ignore the revenue for these kind of companies, but EPS was pretty decent. So I think the market has got to reward SQZ, especially with this positive environment that we are seeing pre-market. Pusida was up 4.41%, and it has converted this resistance into a support. So I'm going to mark this as a support. And the candle was very thin with concentration in the center out here at 4.50. We are still there at the market open, pre-market. So I'm hoping that we're going to continue having this support. And then let us look at IMTX. IMTX was up 3.16% yesterday. Pre-market, there are no trades. And we have converted this thick line of simple moving average, this blue thick line, which is at 10.65 into a support. It's the 100-day simple moving average. We still have resistance from the 50-day and the 10-day simple moving average sitting in the range of 10.76 and 10.86. So that's going to be our resistance today. And with that, my friends, I would like to bring this video to an end. I hope you had a great time. And by the way, in terms of updates, our video on AGT 103 has had a lot of feedback, and I'm trying to get it translated into Spanish with closed caption. If any of our viewers can help me do the translation, that would be great. Or I could do a Google Translate and send it to you, and you could just proof check it for me and let me know if it's fine, so that I can upload the closed caption, because a lot of Spanish viewers are emailing me and asking me for a Spanish translation, and I don't know Spanish. So any help from the audience would be helpful. So with that, my friends, I would request you to press a like out there if you like this video. And if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe and press the notify button. Thanks and have a great day. Bye for now.